Hi, good evening, and welcome to our new Student Summer Series session with me, Sarah Pengel. And actually, Chris Lambert is my moderator this evening, but he also works in student life over at the Fauquier campus. So this presentation this evening is called The Impact of Getting Involved with Student in Campus Life. Can't remember what I called this thing. But basically, I'm going to walk through what student life is and talk about the ways and the opportunities that we have to get involved. And I'm also going to give you some examples of different things that students have done and been able to accomplish through their time at LFCC. So a little bit about me. As I said, my name is Sarah Pengel. I'm the Student Leadership and Engagement Specialist at the Middletown campus, and that is very similar to what Chris Lambert is over at Fauquier. You can email me at spangle@lfcc.edu, but you also get an email from engage@lfcc.edu every Monday, and I'll talk about that more a little bit later, but you can always drop questions, suggestions, anything to that email address as well. So this is the run of the session. We're going to talk about why student life, why do we offer it? Who knows? We're also going to talk about the impact of what we offer. And then how do you get involved? And then some upcoming events that we have planned. So why student life? Why would your college invest in providing activities for you? So when you think about this, I always ask the middle schoolers, because we used to do middle school tours, and I'd say, why on earth would we have activities and events for you to get involved with outside of the classroom? And the middle schoolers were like, so we can have fun. And yes, that's a huge part of it. We want you to socialize. We want you to have fun. We also want you to build your campus community. We want you to meet other people. Learning about the campus. When people get involved in student life, I've been known to give recommendations for jobs and for scholarships. I've helped students write scholarship essays. So it builds a network in your life, and student life helps grow you as a person just overall. So here's your social life. This is where you get to meet your friends. You get to feel connected to your college. I went to Radford University, and I wish that I had gotten more involved. You know, they have campus clubs, and they do club fairs and things like that. And I'd walk around and look at everything that was going on, and they had hundreds of clubs. And I just never stepped outside of my comfort zone and tried it. It wasn't until the very end of my 4-year tenure at Radford that I got involved in the advertising club. And that's when I really started to meet people. And I felt like it was so late in the game to be making these connections. And I really wish that I had done more. They have study abroad trips and different things like that. So, you know, you can get started at LFCC. We have tons of opportunities for you, but that also translates to when you go to the four-year institution. You're able to take what you've gotten from us and apply it to the four-year institution if that's your path. Educational opportunities. So we try not to make it boring. We try not to make it another lecture that you have to attend. We try to have simulators if it's for something related to drunk or impaired driving. We had big simulators. It was like getting in a video game and being able to ride around like that. And we had, we do different things like our campus police will come out and set up, they'll give you the impaired goggles and let you drive their golf cart around the basketball court. And so that way you're learning, but in a fun, interactive way. Like we really try to spice it up and, you know, maybe be a little controversial sometimes, maybe challenge your thoughts and ideas sometimes, because it's important to reevaluate why you think the way you do. And so some of the educational opportunities that we offer allow that to happen for you. We have gone on museum trips. Right before COVID happened, we went to DC to the African American Smithsonian Museum, and students just get to go off on their own. I don't treat you like you're a kid. I treat you as if you're an adult. I give you a time to be back, and I say have fun and behave. You know, it's not the same as going on a field trip with high school or middle school. It's a very different experience, and you're going to be challenged in new ways. And so we try to bring that to you. When it comes to leadership skills, I mean, this is something that we've really expanded over the last few years. And we have clubs and organizations. And so Chris and I are co-advisors for the Student Government Association. If you don't know what that is simply the voice of the students. They are students just like you, and they come together to make LFCC a better place for students. When we think of the impact that our student government has had over the years, it's really fascinating to think about, you know, back in, I think it was 2012, 13, we were not the Lions. We were actually the LFCC Cannons, because we, in Middletown at least, are on a battlefield. That's Skirmish at Middletown, which is why Skirmisher Lane. So I'm giving you a little history at the same time. But yes, so we were the Cannons, and we formed a rugby team at the time, which we have found more recent years is not sustainable for us anymore. But we did have a rugby team, and they couldn't be named the LFCC Cannons because there was a Winchester Cannons rugby team, and we didn't want to have the same mascot and get confused. So they became the Lions, and our student government said, you know, it would be really cool to have a real mascot, have somebody in a costume on campus, at sporting events or different things, you know, going out into the community. And so they decided that they wanted to poll students and staff and faculty to figure out if it was something people wanted to change. And so they were able to change us to the Lions. So I think the first thing that they did was, do you want the change? And people said yes. And then they said, what do you want to change to? And everybody was excited about our rugby team at the time. And so the Lions became our official mascot. And then soon after that, Student Life bought Leo the Lion costumes online and had him show up. We are now on Leo 2.0. He's pretty legit looking. And he's a real, not just a costume you can buy online. He was customized for LFCC. So yes, and there is Leo's head in Chris's office. That's Leo 2.0. Say hi if you see him around campus. So that was one big change that we were able to make. We also did a poll to find out what people would like to name him. Leroy and Leonard and all kinds of names came out. But Leo ended up winning. So he is Leo the Lion, our LFCC mascot. The other big change that the Student Government Association that I can think of off the top of my head was back when they started planning the student union building. Our foundation, who does a lot of our fundraising for us, they came to us and they said, what would you like to see in a building that is geared towards students? And students told them they wanted a place to work out and a place to hang out and a place to eat. And so that was what started the sculpting of our student union building at the Middletown campus. We're hoping one day Fauquier will also follow in our footsteps and get their own space for that. But that was something that students had a voice in and were a big part of the process. You know, we had rugby teams, we had soccer teams, we had students who were, you know, wanting to work out and then go to class right after. And you can't do that necessarily well if you're stinky and smelly from working out or playing, you know, a sport outside, whether it's 3-on-3 basketball or flag football or cornhole or whatever it is, and then go into class sweaty and gross. So that was the idea behind the locker rooms and the fitness center upstairs. So just know that when you become part of a club or organization, you can really affect change. You can really be a part of something big. Our clubs range and they change over time. We've had all kinds of clubs, and some of them have stayed for a long time and some of them have fallen off. But we had I think it was a pro-life club one time, and the student who started the pro-life club was able to get a scholarship when they moved to Ave Maria, which is a college down in Florida. It's a Catholic school, and she was able to get a scholarship for becoming a president and starting a chapter at her school. So lots of stories like that related to clubs and organizations. And I'll tell you more about them as I tell you about our students that I'm going to highlight here in a second. So the impact. So this is where I'm going to take some examples of students that I've met over the last, I don't know, I've been at the college for like ever. And I think I'm on my 10th or 11th year at the college. And so I've seen a lot of really cool stories come through. So it was very hard to pick just 3 students to talk about. And Chris has many, I'm sure. So this is Carlos. Carlos is my most recent graduate. He came to us from Stonewall Jackson High School, which is now no longer the name, but he's amazing, such a wonderful person and student, and he really, really thrived at LFCC. He met our outreach person, Kelly Williams, and she invited him in to interview to be a work study. And unfortunately, he chose her over me, but he was still very, very involved in student life. So he was a work study for the outreach and the foundation office, and he did a lot of really cool things with them. He was able to run their social media for them on the main LFCC page, and he also was an ambassador. So the picture up here in this corner there's Leo 2.0. He's with the ambassadors, and they took a bunch of photos all over campus to kind of show off our facilities and be representatives of the college. So the ambassador program is where, and Chris Lambert also is in charge of the ambassadors over at Fauquier. They are the face of LFCC. Those students go out and they do recruitment. They help on campus with different things. They might be at the welcome desk. They might be greeting you when you come in or giving you a tour around campus. Very, very involved group of individuals, given a lot of responsibility, and tons of growth happens in that group. So Carlos was also part of our fine and performing arts group. And this over here to the left, where Leo is, again, you can see that was a very tall Leo that day. They decided to be the Wizard of Oz, and Leo was the lion. And Carlos was also involved in our Spring Follies production, and he was an amazing performer in that. He sang, he danced, he acted, did skits. So we have that every spring as well. And we have a really good time doing that. production is something we do every year, and it involves a lot of different people, a lot of community members. Barry Lee from Wink FM comes usually and does the emceeing of it. Russell Rinker, who is a former Shenandoah County resident since he was born there, but he is a professional actor and singer and performer, and so he travels the country and performs in stage productions. He was also a Blue Man for many years, and so he comes back and does all the arranging of our music. He can play the piano by ear. He's incredible, and he does that entire production. Comes out of his head. I don't know. So we'll have that hopefully in the spring if COVID cooperates. Let's see. Down here in the corner is a mystery bus that we went on, and I just really like this photo because any student could go on a mystery bus, and it's low stakes. It's something you do, you just sign up, go on the mystery bus. It's the one evening event a month, and then you come back, and hopefully you made some friends while you were there. So this was my last mystery bus before COVID shut everything down. We went to Exit Plan, which is in Leesburg. If you've never had a chance to go, I encourage you to. It's a really awesome escape room, and they have several rooms in there that you can do. So I encourage that a lot. And these students, some of them I'd never met before that evening. So it doesn't hurt to do little things at a time, ease yourself into it. Carlos also, and I think all the students that I'm going to talk about went to the Student Leadership Conference. His was in Virginia Beach, and that's where you go. It's usually our clubs and organization students. They're students who are really involved in things, and they get to go and attend a real live conference. And they get to eat really good food usually, and they stay in a hotel, and Chris and I, out of the student life budget, we pay for pretty much everything. So you should take advantage of these things when we offer them, because they're really, really great experiences. And of course it was in Virginia Beach, so that was a big pull for people as well. On to my next success story. This is Taylor. She actually just got married in Charleston, South Carolina during COVID. And she was very, very outgoing. And you don't necessarily have to be an outgoing person to get involved. So I don't want you to leave this presentation thinking that you have to be, the center of attention, because that is not something I want you to take away from this. But that just happens to be Taylor's personality, larger than life. You knew if Taylor was in the room, you really did. So she was a spring 2015 graduate. She was a work study in my office in student life, and she helped us plan events. She helped us advertise events. She helped us facilitate the events. So Chris and I do a one-stop shop. We do it all, from planning to purchasing to implementation, everything. We do it all. And having work studies and students that help is a really big part of it. And you gain some really awesome experience from being involved in that kind of thing. You get to learn how to make flyers, and you get to learn the importance of marketing, and you get to talk to people all over campus and really build those connections. So we had a soccer team at the time, and Taylor was on the soccer team up here. And then down here we did a mental health awareness week. And so she was a part of that, and we all got t-shirts and matched for that. Over here in the bottom left, we were doing New Student Welcome Day, which obviously it looks different this year. We're going to be on Zoom, but we're still doing some curbside pickups, so students can still be involved in that kind of thing. In the middle here, we went to, this was our alternative spring break trip, and this was only part of our group because we were the ones with passports, so we were able to go to Canada when we were up in Buffalo, New York, working on a Habitat for Humanity project for a week. They gave us a day off, and so this was the small group that had passports to go to Canada, and so we got to see the big Horseshoe Falls, which is right behind us. And then Chris had the students who didn't have passports, so they stayed on the American side, and they still got to see the falls, but they didn't get to see the big horseshoe. You can't see that from the American side. So lots of really awesome things that she was involved in. She planned all of my mystery buses. If you wanted to be my work study, you would be in charge of that. That is the one thing that I definitely give over to the work studies. And I say, make it happen, tell me what you want to do, and we'll do it. And so for those of you who may not be familiar with a mystery bus, that's kind of sketchy when you explain it, but it's where we take you somewhere and we don't tell you where you're going. And so in the last slide where I talked about Carlos, we went to Exit Plan, which was an escape room, but we've done all kinds of things. We've gone to corn mazes and haunted houses and ice skating and bowling alleys and you name it, we've probably tried it at some point. And so Student Life pays for students to go and be involved in those things. So when you register for classes, you pay your tuition and fees. Within your fees is a Student Life fee. And that includes anything that Chris and I plan. And so you should get your money's worth by getting involved. And when the student union opens back up, if you're a Middletown student, even if you're a Fauquier student, if you want to drive all the way over, you can, or Luray, whatever you want to do. The fitness center is open to you to use as part of your fees. So you don't have to pay any money out of pocket for that. Okay. So the last person I want to talk about is my non-traditional student who really got involved and got to go on some amazing trips and activities. And so this is David, and he was I think a 2013 graduate. He was Middletown's outstanding student that year. He was also the commencement speaker. David was not an 18-year-old kid coming out of high school. And that is what a lot of students feel like attend these types of things. And that's fine, it's true. We do have a lot of we have a lot of traditional students that get involved in things, but I don't want all students to think that that's all it is. If you are a parent, if you are somebody who's older and coming back and maybe you're 25, maybe you're 30, we will accept you and take you any way we can get you. We get you involved in whatever we can. And so David was very involved in forensics, which is our speech, drama, and debate team. We travel all over the Eastern coast. We've been to Florida, we've been to Canada, and all the different places in between. And we usually have about 3 tournaments a semester. So if you're, yes, so 3 tournaments a semester. And then in the spring semester, which starts in January, we usually have a really cool destination. Spring 2021 was supposed to be Ottawa, Canada, but I just got word that that's not going to happen, and maybe because the borders aren't open and we can't go anywhere at the very least, but we're just trying to stay safe. So David competed. He was an excellent speaker once he really got going and learned the ropes on how to do it. And he was incredible to listen to. And so speech, drama, and debate, like, you can start off on any level. I've seen the most introverted students who didn't talk to anybody become amazing, incredible public speakers who knew how to be articulate and be able to express themselves with research. And it's just an incredible thing to get involved in. And so we're still having that. We're just right now, we're looking at an all virtual fall. Spring is to be determined. We're hoping that we'll be able to go somewhere, because we usually end up finishing the semester or the year in March at Ocean City, Maryland. So we always go on that one. So just stay tuned. And if you're interested in that, contact me, because I'm a coach for that as well. But this down in the corner, this is when we met David David was with us, and he was competing in the AFA tournament with the forensics team. And this is Johnny, who was a former student of ours who went to JMU, and he came and met us while we were on campus. So it was really great to kind of reconnect with somebody. And then in the corner here is Ron. And you might look at Ron and think that Ron is a coach or an advisor or an instructor. Ron was a student too, and also a non-traditional student. He started college later in life, and he was very successful as well. And so I believe he was the outstanding student when he graduated as well. So, you can do amazing things even if you're an older student. So don't let that stop you. And then here's Natalie. She was also on the team. Natalie was very involved as well. I'm trying to think. She is now working, I believe, for the FBI. Yeah, I know. She works for the FBI now, and she was so quirky and different and loved cosplay. I mean, I didn't know what wig she was going to show up to work in. So she was also on the team and did a lot with the Follies. She was in Fine and Performing Arts Club, and she got a lot out of being an LFCC student as well. So this picture in the corner down here and this picture up here are both from the same trip, because David's not on Facebook, so I had a really hard time digging photos up of him. But this is from when we went down to Florida in Pinellas County for our Habitat for Humanity trip. It was over spring break that year. And we had the weirdest time. I mean, all the things that could happen to us almost did. We ended up on split flights. We didn't have cars when we landed. We just had a whole mess of things happen. But you know what? That group was so much fun. It was such a memorable time. We made dinner together. We worked on the work site together. It was just an incredible trip that I will never forget. David was also the Valley Protein Scholarship recipient, which is a really big deal. And if you haven't looked into scholarships, being part of student life and getting involved is a really great way to land scholarships. So getting involved, if for nothing else, trying to pay for your college career is a huge part of what we do. We give you the experience, we help you with teamwork, we teach you all this stuff, you get all these experiences, you volunteer, you give back to your community, and you land amazing scholarships. Through that scholarship, he was able to create a volunteer project of his own. And it was something to do with trails. He's very outdoorsy. And so he was able to complete that and then have money to go to school and pay for laptops and books and all that stuff. And then I believe so Carlos and David, Carlos that I mentioned earlier, and David, and then we had a student named Tiffany. Several of our students have been Centennial Scholarship winners, and that is at James Madison University, JMU. And those students that get the Centennial Scholarship get 2 free years of college. They're not allowed to work because they want you to focus on school and getting involved. So they didn't get that in a vacuum. They were able to receive those scholarships because of everything that they had accomplished at LFCC. So that is why we do what we do, is to help you get these opportunities, these experiences, so that you can get ahead. Because if you were to take 2 resumes of 2 students who did the same program, had the same GPA, what sets them apart? This kind of stuff sets them apart. And I know David has a huge list of things extra, and so does Taylor and Carlos, of things that I couldn't fit on the slides because they just did so much. And you don't have to do as much as these people did, but you want to. You get involved and then you get the bug and then you want to do more. So how do I get involved? I will show you the way. So read the weekly email. I know that seems crazy. It's really, that's what it's about. Reading the weekly email. You get it from engage@lfcc.edu. Campus live events. This is your personal invitation. This is us saying, we cordially invite you to attend X event. Okay, so consider that your personal invite to whatever we have going on. Find something that interests you. Once you find something that interests you, follow the directions in the email. So if it says email engage@lfcc.edu to sign up, do that. If it says, you know, fill out this Google form or just show up, just show up. Put it on your calendar, set a reminder. We've got all kinds of technology to help you do that. And then number 3, attend the event. It's that simple. It really is. We want you to be involved. We're not going to take a look at you and be like, ooh, what are they doing here? Never has that happened. Okay, so we want you to be involved. We want to meet you. It's what we do. It's what we are passionate about. So yes, read the email, follow the directions on whatever interests you, and then attend the event. Simple as that. So I talk to my students a lot. I also teach public speaking, and I talk to my students a lot about the comfort zone. And the comfort zone is a place where you feel comfort, right? That's like your meat and potatoes. It's where you like to be, right? But when you step out of your comfort zone, you try something new, you're pushed into a growth zone. And the growth zone is maybe not so comfortable. It's like trying a new skill. It's like learning the piano, where you're like, I feel like an idiot right now. Which is something I'm trying to do, is learn the piano. So I feel kind of like an idiot. And I feel silly, you know, playing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and that's it. That's all I know. But that growth zone soon becomes the new comfort zone. And what you don't realize is that you've grown yourself. You've grown yourself, you've grown your network, you've grown your abilities, and you feel more comfortable where you were once maybe not so comfortable. So that's what we try to do. We try to push you a little bit out of your comfort zone, just little baby steps, until you haven't realized it, but you're a whole different person and you've learned a lot about yourself. So stepping outside of your comfort zone and trying new things is the best way to grow. And then some upcoming events. I'm not even sure if this is up to date, but I do have some stuff on here. And Chris can fill us in on other stuff that we have planned for fall. But so in the middle, we were going to do a talent show, which was in the summer. However, we're going to push it to the fall. I think everything was up in the air. We had a hard time getting in touch with students at the time. And so we're going to push this to the fall. So stay tuned to the campus email, Campus Live. for the dates. And we're going to give out prizes, much better than an LFCC gift card. It'll probably be a few $100s in a gift card. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And then trivia challenges. That's something Chris likes to do on the reg. So get involved in the trivia challenges. We like to give out prizes, especially now that we're virtual, to try to dangle a carrot so that you'll come to our events. But once you get there, you usually have an awesome time. So again, baby steps, push yourself out of that comfort, just try something a little bit, and you never know. And then over here, we had a virtual concert series featuring a student, Isaac Stroop. And he was so cute in his little red jacket playing music, and music from the 50s, right? Yeah. He was incredible. And so we're actually looking for more students to do that with. So if you're a performer, we're going to figure out how to make that happen for you. So contact engage@lfcc.edu. I'm not sure what some of the clubs are doing right now, but I will be in touch with them soon, and you'll see that again in your email. But we are currently meeting. This is my SGA from this past year. We had Leo's birthday. We showed The Lion King on that big blow-up screen, and we had Leo there to celebrate his, I think he was 8. Oh my gosh. He will be 9 this year in October. So we're going to try to plan a birthday party for him some way, shape, or form. We're going to celebrate Leo. And so we have meetings for our Student Government Association. And if you're interested in that, contact one of us or engage@lfcc.edu, because we're also in charge of that too. And you can contact us and say, hey, I want to be involved. Tell me more. And we'll send you links, and we'll do what we need to do to get you involved. So this is just a small amount of things that we're doing in the fall. And we welcome any ideas that you have, suggestions. We're trying to figure out how to have, maybe it's a video game tournament. Chris is going to bring a mentalist on virtually, which I'm really excited about. And what else do we have?
We'll have Salsa Magic for Hispanic Heritage Month.
Nice.
And then in the spring, just going ahead and tell you guys what's happening then. We've got a comedian virtually. Already planning to have some virtual things, the way things are looking. Sorry, everybody. And we'll have we have game shows all the time. And everything that you win at these events, we mail to you. You don't have to come on campus to pick it up. We take care of everything for you.
Yep, so we've got some really cool stuff planned. Stay tuned to your email, and stuff is always popping up. Mm-hmm. We'll have professors come to us and be like, we want to do this, or we want to do that, or we want to have this speaker, or we want to do this. And we're just really flexible and make it happen. And not to mention we're on a bunch of committees. So depending on what the different committees want to play in, we try to make that happen as well. So that's the end of my presentation. That's all I have for you this evening. I hope that you enjoyed watching me babble this whole time, and I look forward to meeting you this fall and sometime in the spring. I am due with a baby in November, and so Chris will be your contact for Middletown until I return from maternity leave, which will be sometime in the spring. I haven't figured out. I guess I won't figure that out for a while till baby comes. So I will be back sometime in the spring semester, and then hopefully things will be more normal-ish, and then we can see each other in person. And maybe we're wearing masks, but it's fine. We'll see. So Chris is going to tell you about our entry that you can put in to win an iPad mini or AirPods or a Nintendo Switch. And that will be drawn on August 24th, which is the first day of classes.
Oh. So just go to, sorry, Sarah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go to this link, tinyurl.com/LFCC-summer 2020. Just make sure you submit and enter the session that you attended today. It's Sarah's Impact of Campus Life. And then on the 24th, we'll do the drawing, and then in the email that we send out from engage@lfcc.edu, we'll have the winners and we will contact you individually. So make sure to enter and then attend our new student welcome week, which is next week. We have a ton of events, 27 events to fill out the week. I counted them up this afternoon. 27 events for you to get involved and start your year off right with us. So make sure to enter and talk to me and Sarah anytime. We would love to hear from you. Email, Zoom us, however. And we look forward to seeing you in person soon.